Hi and welcome to another 5 minutes tutorial, and this time a new thing. So we have Blender 4.3 Alpha, and in this one we also have something called Gable or Gabor texture. So a new type of noise is introduced. So if you don't have Blender 4.3, go to the Blender site and download the alpha version of it, and then you can follow along here. So if we take a look on the Gable texture, we just go to texture and select Gable texture here. And that is a linear noise. So if I take the value to the base color, you can then see these lines here that almost look like sand dunes or something like that. And you can control it in many ways. So you have the scale for the total scale. You also have the frequency, which you can see are shrinking the width of these lines here, so they get more narrow when we are using higher frequency. With anisotropy, we can control how the orientation here is followed. So with the anisotropy of 1, then everything is going really as the orientation says. But if we take it down a bit, you get more random variation from this. So you get it to be completely random if you take it to 0. So those are the things that you can use here. The value is a combination of phase and intensity. So you use the sine curve from phase into the value, and then you multiply everything with intensity, and you get the value out here. So the phase looks like this. It doesn't have this variation in the intensity, so you just get from 0 to 1 all the way here in a normalized pattern. And the intensity is darker, where you can see that it's breaking all these lines here. So those places where you can see it breaks here, that is where we have a low intensity, the black parts here, and where we have higher, that is more where we have the long lines. So it breaks everything up and changes the height of everything. So those you can combine, and you can use this for a lot of stuff. You can use it for raindrops, you can use it for sand dunes, you can use it for cloth or something else. So I can do a simple example for cloth, for instance. So if I just copy this one, pressing Shift D, and change this orientation to 127 like this, and then I take the UV from this one and the UV from this one, and I take the minimum value from each. So Shift A, go to Converter, Math, put in value and value, take the minimum value like this. And right now it's more like squares, but we can fix that by just adding a map range. So Shift A, Converter, map range like this, and I will put this to 1 and this to 0 to increase it, and now you can see it starts to look like a pattern for cloth. And then I can just take this up a bit and take this down a bit, so we get more like cloth lines here. And since you don't have this perfect as you have in the wave texture, you can then get more realistic thing here. You can also add a value, so Shift A, input value to control the scale better. So we put that in here and put that in here and put that to like 40 or 50, could be 30 perhaps, like that, and use some anisotropy that is, and some frequency that is not exactly the same up and down here, because then we get this weird noise. But if we change the frequency so it changes just a bit here, then you get like a really good pattern for cloth like this. And another thing is that you can combine this with the noise if you want to. So you can add like orientation or something like that. One thing to notice here is that the orientation is in degrees even if we put something in. If you use the rotation node or something like that, then it changes to be radians here. But this is degrees. So I press Shift A, go to texture and put in a noise texture here, and then I take this value and put in radians to the grease here. See if I can do like this. Shift A, convert on math instead. And I take here, let's see, 2 degrees. So we put that in to the orientation here, and then we get a really nice looking pattern here with the noise here, where we can play with it and we don't need all the other stuff. We can just take one of these to show you how you can play with the noise in different ways here, because now you can send the noise into the Gabor texture. So you can do a lot of stuff with the Gabor texture that is amazing and that we didn't have the possibility to do in an easy way before. So hopefully you learned something today as well, and I just say bye for now and see you later.